Hi, fellow sports lovers and timeout lovers, and welcome to another episode of Timeout, a show anybody can watch about sports, stats, facts, and everything in between, from a fan point of view. I'm your host, Charlie, so let's go get this ball rolling. Timeout. Let's talk about some sports. How did I miss that? Oh man, woo! Wow, did we have some awesome, unbelievable Warriors weekend! Woohoo! So, timeout. It's sports time. How did I miss that, man? We begin today's show in Indianapolis as the Colts hosted the Patriots, as the crowd was booing the Pats as they walked into the field, fellow timeout lovers and sports lovers. Now remember, timeout lovers, last year the reason Tom Brady had to go through supposedly almost his 4-game suspension, even though that got all taken care of, and had to go to court, was because of that Indianapolis game. So the Colts have a lot of vengeance against Mr. Tom Terrific. But nonetheless, Andrew Lucky Luck gets the crowd going crazy as Dante McCreef gets a 5-yard pass from him to get a first Colts touchdown. Woohoo! With the game being a back and forth kind of battle all the way to the end as the Colts tried so hard to throw out all their weapons. Even T.Y. Let me go to that Hilton finally got his first touchdown of the season with one insane, pretty much, fellow timeout lovers, scrambled little post there, play to find Mr. 13 for a Colts touchdown. But in the end, in the second quarter, but it wasn't enough as the Pats, woohoo, they rallied back. And that insane superstar running back, you all know him as LeGarrette Blount, gets 11-yard pass from Tom Terrific to end the game 34-27. Even though those Colts tried their hardest, even with, fellow timeout lovers, 1 minute and 19 seconds left in the game, Andrew Luck just boom, bullets an 18-yard pass to Guff Whalen, but it wasn't enough as the Pats beat the Colts 34-27. And the Pats are still, fellow timeout lovers, at the top of their game, being undefeated 5-0. Wow, them boys are really insane. The superstars of the day, on the Pats side, we had, of course, Tom Terrific Brady, who had a very good day with 312 yards, count them, not one, not two, but three touchdowns, and 1 interception, and finished for 23-37. LeGarrette Blount, one of the best running backs in the game, had a decent day with 93 yards, 16 carries, and count them, 1 touchdown. Damian Amendola stepped up his game with 7 receiving and 105 yards. On the Colts side, Andrew Luck had a pretty decent day with 312 yards, count them, not one, not two, but three touchdowns, and finished for 30-50. Frank Gore had a decent day with 13 carries, 78 yards. And finally, T.Y., let me stay in that Hilton, had 6 receiving, 74 yards, and finally got his first woohoo touchdown of the season. On to the next game. We head to the home of that noisy woo-hoo, woo, 12th man. Those Seahawks hosted those rowdy, rough and tough, undefeated by the way, Carolina Panthers. With another back and forth game as Seattle's kicker Steve Hakushek knocks down a 30, that's right, 30-yard field goal. But Cam says, don't worry, Panthers fans, Panthers players, I got this. And decides to himself to go off to the races with a 2-yard run in for the first Panthers touchdown. Woohoo! With Russell Wilson even throwing a 40-yard pass to Ricardo Lockett to get a Seattle touchdown, but it wasn't enough as that amazing tight end, Greg Olsen, man, what a stud he is. Mr. Reliable gets a 26-yard pass from Cam Newton from the Panthers to beat them Seahawks. Wow! In CenturyLink Stadium, 27-23. The Panthers, fellow timeout lovers, are now 5-0. Wow, what a game. I'm definitely a believer in those Panthers now. The studs on Carolina's side was head Panther, calm, cool, deadly, but collective Cam Newton. With 269 yards, count them, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions, but finished for 20-36. Jonathan Roaring Back Stewart had a good day with 20 carries, 78 yards, and count them, not 1 but 2 touchdowns. And Greg Mr. Reliable Olsen had 7 receiving and 131 yards, and count them, 1 touchdown. On the other side of the coin, on the Seahawks side, Russell Wilson had 241 yards, count them, 1 touchdown, and finished for 18-30. Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch had 17 carries, 54 yards, and got a Beast Mode touchdown. Jimmy not going to get the ball this year. Graham had 8 receiving and 140 yards. The Panthers stay undefeated. Man, wow. Congrats, boys. You deserve it. And you gave this timeout lover, you made me a believer. On to the next game, we head to Detroit as the Lions hosted my Chicago Bears. Oh man, was this a good game, as the Lions have not won a game yet, by the way, fellow timeout lovers. Everything was on the line for these Lions. As the game gets started, as Matthew Stafford starts the first roar and soars a 20-yard pass, fellow timeout lovers, to Lance Moore to get a Lions touchdown. Now, with the Bears ready to roar back in the beginning of the second quarter, Jeremy Longford of the Bears gets a 2-yard run to get a Bears touchdown, but then them Lions come roaring back. Oh man, in 53 seconds left into the second quarter, Golden Tate gets a 2-yard pass, if you want to call it a touchdown, fellow timeout lovers. Literally, the ball went up in the air and he pretty much missed it, but he touched it, so the NFL considers that a touchdown. Anyway, but nonetheless, it was ready for them Bears to man up, with those vets stepping up their game. Mr. Alshon Jeffrey pretty much having a welcome back to Chicago kind of day, with getting an 11-yard pass from Mr. Jay Cutler. And Matt Forte showing his style with a 10-yard, getting a 2-yard run from Jay Cutler for a 2-point, that's right, 2-point conversion. Then in 21 seconds left into the fourth, Calvin Megatron Johnson gets a 6-yard, wow, pass from Matthew Stafford. But Robbie Gould of them Bears stepped up his game. That lucky, amazing Bear, with nothing, 0 seconds left in the game, fellow timeout lovers. He gets a 29, that's right, 29-yard field goal, with the game now going, okay, into overtime, 34-34. Matt Prater of the Lions decides the kicker roars back and finishes the game 37-34 in overtime, with the Lions getting their first win against my Bears in final overtime. The studs for the Lions were Matthew Stafford with 405 yards, count them, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4, timeout lovers, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception, and finished for 27-42. Amir Abdul had 14 carries and 48 yards, and Calvin Megatron Johnson on the Lions side had 6 receiving, 166 yards, and a Lions touchdown. On my Bears side, we had quarterback Jay Cutler with 353 yards, count them, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, and finished for 26-41. Matt Forte had a decent day with 24 carries and 69 yards, as well as a Bears touchdown. And Alshon, welcome back to the Bears. Jeffrey had 8 receiving and 147 yards, and count them, 1 touchdown. Wow. Good job, Lions. I gotta give them credit. It was a good game going against my monstrous, rough and tough Bears. You finally got your first win of the season. And finally, my last NFL game. For today on this marvelous Monday was the Titans hosted those new and improved, boom, Miami Dolphins, as the Fins got a brand new coach, Dan Campbell, and it was time to put up or shut up. And boy, did him and his Dolphins come to work. As the headfish big man, oh man, woohoo! Jarvis Landry starts the party early in Tennessee and gets a 22-yard run to get a Dolphins touchdown. All right, then the Titans try to come back in nothing. 0 seconds left in the game in the third quarter. Third quarter. Dexter McCluster gets a 34-yard pass from Marcus Mariota to get a Titans touchdown. But it wasn't enough, as those Dolphins, the newest tight end, and of course, because the newest coach is a tight end coach, Jordan Cameron gets to shine bright. Yeah! With that Miami Dolphins under the lights, with finishing the job with the 12-yard pass from Tannehill to finish the game 38-10. Woohoo! Go Dolphins! The Dolphins' defense and offense looked elite. With this new style of the fish, it brings high hopes, definitely, to Miami. The studs on Miami's side was, of course, Dolphins' own quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, who had 266 yards, count them, not 1 but 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, but finished for 22-29. Lamar Miller helped out with 19 carries, 113 yards, and count them, 1 touchdown. And Rashard Matthews came back with a vengeance with 6 receiving and 85 yards. On the Titans side, we have quarterback Marcus Mariota, who tried to have a decent day with 219 yards, count him 1 touchdown, but had 2 interceptions, and finished for 21 to 33. Dexter McCluster tried to have a decent day with 5 carries and 23 yards, and finally, Delane Walker finished it off with 8 receiving and 97 yards. But those fish, woo! Yeah! Beat those Titans 38-10. Wow! Good job, Dolphins. Wow, what a deserved win. Man, talk about some awesome, jaw-dropping NFL that happened this Warrior weekend. Also, what happened this weekend in the SEC, we had my undefeated Gators going head-on against those rough and tough old Southern boys, LSU. As both teams going in undefeated, it was definitely going to be a good battle. Even though Will Grier was out, Phil Timeout lovers, pretty much because he wasn't feeling good, got the flu, went to GNC, and there was supplements in the GNC that basically made it so that he wasn't, that had substances in that the NCAA does not appreciate, so he's suspended for a year and 6 months, which don't get me started on. Anyway, with Will Grier not playing as quarterback, as the Gators started it off right, as Jake McGahee, woohoo, sets it up for the Gators and gets a 44-yard pass from quarterback second string Trayon Harris. But then those LSU boys get fired up, and in the end of the second quarter, with 15 seconds left before halftime, quarterback Brandon Harris from FSU throws a Hail Mary to Machua Dupree. A 50-yard pass, to be exact, fellow timeout lovers, to have the score at halftime, 14-28. Then in the third, it was all about them Gators, as they desperately needed to put some points up, as Kelvin Taylor sets it up with a 2-yard run in for a Gator touchdown. And then Antonio Callaway helps out and gets a 72-yard punt return. But of course, those Tigers roared back, and in the fourth quarter, Trent Demigi gets a 16-yard run to end the game, 35-28. Woo! The studs on the Gator side was, alright, Trayon Harris with 271 yards, count them not 1 but 2 touchdowns, and finished for 17-32. Kelvin Taylor had a decent day with 15 carries, 25 yards, and count them 1 touchdown. And Jake McGahee set it up right with 5 receiving, 43 yards, and count them not 1 but 2, that's right, 2 touchdowns. On LSU side, on them Tiger side, we had Brandon Harris, who had 202 yards, got him not 1 but 2 touchdowns, and finished for 13-19. And future Heisman winner Leonard Fournette had a decent day with 31 carries, 180 yards, and count him not 1 but 2 touchdowns. Machua Dupree had a decent day with 4 receiving, 115 yards, and count them not 1 but 2 touchdowns. LSU, I mean, gotta give them credit where credit is due. They beat my undefeated Gators, 35-28. Wow, what an intense game. In baseball news, the New York Mets were hosting my Cubbies in Game 2 of the NLCS game. Oh man, this was a tough game to watch, fellow timeout lovers, because as you know, I'm a die-hard Cubbies fan. As the Mets got this game going in the first inning, as Murphy goes in, boom, 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 homers one to the right, woo! 352 feet to be exact to help Wright score one in for them. Mets. Oh man, as my Cubbies only finally came awake in the 6th inning as that Superman, super stud, Chris Bryant goes and boom boom, doubles one to deep left to help Fowler score one in. But it wasn't enough as the Mets beat my Cubbies 4-1. And now lead the series, fellow timeout lovers, 2 to goose egg. Nothing. And with DeGrom coming up to step up the plate on Tuesday, Cubbies, we're going to have to bring out every weapon we have. Because these Mets ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Wow. Talk about some incredible, out-of-this-world sports we had going on this Warrior Weekend. What you watching? Oh man, fellow timeout lovers, we have some awesome games going on tonight on this monstrous Monday. Such as at 8:07 p.m., can the Blue Jays keep themselves and their fans cool, calm, and collective and get a victory? Or will those comeback kid Royals with Game 3 happening tonight and KC leading the series, the Jays must win this game in a winner-takes-all matchup. Can the Jays soar into victory lane? Or will those Royals be off with their heads? Tune in on Fox Sports 1 to find out. And in the NFL on Monday Night Football, woo-hoo! We have the Philadelphia Eagles trying to prove to the world that we are something special. Or will those 3-2 Giants squash those birds of prey? Tune in on ESPN at 8:30 tonight to find out. That's my show, fellow sports lovers. Thanks for tuning in. If you really like what I'm talking about, then go and give me those thumbs up. Or, if you really feel me, then why haven't you subscribed yet? Or, you can always leave me a comment below the video here. And don't forget to hit me up on social media, on Facebook at Trolls Cowan Timeout, as well as Twitter at TimeoutNow87. Until next time, Timeout. Let's talk about some sports. Woo-hoo! Have an awesome, monstrous Monday. Alright, good luck, Philadelphia Eagles versus those Giants, and hopefully those Royals can shut it down against those Jays tonight.